Oh no, stop reading, bro. It's time. It's time. You hear the bell, right? It's ringing. Ding ding.
No, man. That was the end result, right? This is the quest. That's what this is. AKA that questionnaire, ladies and gentlemen. It's, man, I don't know. It might be Wednesday. It might be Saturday. It might be Monday. I don't know. I might start dropping them just on Wednesday after Christmas because we're going to take a bit of a hiatus, but not really. Yeah, but that's a whole different point. But I am the unknown factor, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. And I appreciate you joining us. I hope you're getting your comic on. Yeah. And if it's that quest, I got my fellow alien brother in the house, JD Hardaway.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing this evening? I hope it's good.
Man, I guess today, there's one thing I just want to question the absolute crap out of him about. Right, right. Like he don't even know how much this one thing really tickled the back of my brain. Yeah, yeah. And I forgot again to ask him something that was important before this interview actually started. Hardaway, do you think I can do it?
What's that?
Dude, you ain't seen his name, have you?
No,
All right, see,
you
the
you
first part's
messing with me,
easy,
aren't you?
man. Let's see if I can. Let's see if I butcher this last part or not. And like, he's instantly like, you know what? This interview's over. I'm sick of this asshole butchering my name. I don't know what his problem is. Yeah, but it's Keith Grachow.
I like the way he said it, but it's Grachow.
That would have been my second guess. Damn it! And that's the second episode in a row where I straight up forgot to ask the guest how to pronounce their damn name before we started Hardaway.
You're just terrible at this, man.
Okay, interview over. That's it. We're done.
All right, that's fine, man. I'm just like I'm gonna go to bed, y'all. I'm just gonna go over here.
Yeah.
Nah, not really. Really, I just had to get up because I threw the questionnaire, right? Because I was like, I can't believe yeah. So Keith, how goes it, man?
Hey,
What do you think of the show so far?
it's pretty fucked. In a good way. In a good way. I'm sure.
Well, all I
it'll
want
be
to know, if we're gonna start it out like that, right? And it's gonna be one of those podcasts, as someone else as a previous guest said, like, how you never thought about the fact of where the top of the French bread pizzas go, man? Come on.
What's that?
How you never thought about where the top of the French bread pizza goes?
I don't eat it that often. We make our own, so.
Okay.
Ooh.
You're the second guest was like, it's like, man, I make my own when I do that. And then in that case, you have a top. I do think the bottom is better, even in that situation, right? Because I totally do it that way. It's the best way to do it. But sometimes I just want a Stouffer's, you know what I mean, right? So fair enough. I just think it's funny. It's like it's a problem I've just never thought of. Hey, Hardaway, get hit by a bus.
All right. So, when it comes to the comic book industry, what keeps you going? What makes you want to make that next creation?
Why do I keep on? I mean, I'm an artist, man. Like, it's part of who I am as a human being. So, I mean, I don't know about you guys with rapping and stuff like that, but if it feeds your soul, you kind of have to keep on doing it, right?
Fair enough. That's true.
Very much.
To an extent.
Very much so. Well, to that end, Keith, I'm very curious, man, about the project you've got coming out sometime next year, and we're just gonna get right into it, man. Because
sure, go for it.
Yeah. Oh, hold on, Sasquatch, a refugee story, right?
Yep.
It tickled my brain so hard when I seen these images. Right. So I'm curious as to just what detail are you willing to give us into that particular endeavor?
Well, I mean, you can ask. I'll if I decide I don't want to tell you. If it gives too much away, I won't tell you. But I'll probably talk about
he's like,
it.
I want specific questions. I won't just give you a pitch for it. Like, that's just rude, Keith. How you, man? This interview's over.
Man, I'm just making you work for your job, bud.
That's right. Get it in.
I can tell you like the 10-second pitch. about this family of Sasquatch in Washington State that are being chased out of their home, and basically everybody is frightened by the way they look without really knowing who they are. Right, so they're just being chased
Now
out of
look,
their home.
I knew all that except for the fact of it was Washington. I couldn't remember that one fact. I'll be real honest. This quest has
Yeah.
been epic, and we've had epic questers. Come on, man. Now, to that end, what made you go with that concept as far as to take a set? I mean, because Sasquatch is something that's been used prolifically within comic books. I mean, there's even a Sasquatch in the Marvel universe. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's something that's been used in so
Canadian.
many different ways. Yeah. But so, what made you decide to do it to where it was a refugee type story? Like, it's a very interesting way to take that.
Oh, so I should back up. I'm the one of the
Artist.
creators on it.
Oh,
Mitch
so
Cook and
so
I
so
are
I
the
need
collaborators on it. Yeah.
okay. So I
So
need
Mitch is
both
the
of you to
writer.
ask that question. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because well then where's the other guy, Keith? Get him on here. I want to get in depth about this damn Sasquatch.
He's sick. Actually, I think he's not feeling too well at the moment, so we couldn't get him on today. But
He's Hardaway just threw up
I could
before the
speak
show.
for him.
No excuse.
I could speak for him. I'm sure. He wanted to do something. We've been working together for over a decade on the stories. We're like known as the Martian guys. So we've come up with stories, Concrete Martians, which is a real story of a town that thought Martians were attacking during the War of the Worlds radio broadcast in 1938. That was one of our first projects.
Yeah.
And then after that, the spiritual successor, that was Saltwater, which takes place on Mars. So we've kind of done a lot of stories that mean something to us. And I think he wanted to do something that meant something more to the world, like what was going on in the world. So the stories we've been doing have been more intimate, and this is a little bit more of like a larger issue that's happening right now. So, for him, he just wants to explore different areas of story writing or storytelling and things that mean something to him, right? And to me as well.
I totally get that. I was wondering if you were going to say something, Hardaway.
I'm
But
listening to what he was saying.
I know Hardaway, but there's a moment you're supposed to jump in and say something, but just shut the fuck up then. Never mind.
So rude.
Yeah, Hardaway, you've never told me to shut up on the show.
I plead the fifth.
All right, Chappelle. So to that end, man, I mean, obviously with this story, you're touching on something that, like you said, it's a serious issue nowadays. I mean, and it's a serious issue. I'd say pretty much bloody well planet wide. Why do you think? Because I feel sometimes as people, we look at one another and we see that kind of difference, even though there's not, man. And have you woven something into this story to really show like that side of it?
Yeah, well, I mean, I travel around the world a lot. Like my wife and I love to travel, and one of the things we love to go to places that are not like your all inclusives. We just came from Kenya in August. We've been to Peru. We like to try to go to places that open up our eyes to how other people live, other people's perspective, because it makes you understand where you come from a little bit more. And so this story, I think it kind of mirrors that a bit, because we're dealing with people that are being treated differently for the way they look, without getting to know them, without understanding their own culture. And I don't want to give away too much of the story, but like some people judge with fear, while others don't judge in that same way. And I mean, there's no perfect place to go to where that doesn't happen. So we just wanted to kind of tell that story where, you know, you can be from a place where, yeah, there's people that are fearful of somebody different, but then there's also people in the same area that aren't, right? And I think that you know, we just wanted to make sure that we can kind of get that perspective.
All right. Let me ask then, like, man, because I've seen some of the art you've put out. It looks phenomenal. There's a certain
Thank you.
amount of comedy to it. I feel like there. I mean, in this I mean, I feel like you this is gonna be a comedic, is it not?
A little bit.
Really?
That's probably more my style. I kind of infuse a little bit of that cartooniness into the seriousness to ebb and flow. Sometimes it's going to be a bit more dark. Sometimes it's going to be a bit light. It's not all humorous,
No, no, no.
but
I
yeah, I'm
wouldn't.
glad that you're seeing moments of it for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. I wouldn't expect that because if you look at it, you can see other things. But like, I think it's interesting that you've done this like this. Because I can think of they've done Sasquatch stories where there be humor. I mean, hell, Henry and the Hendersons, you know what I mean? And if you want to throw to a classic, um, but like just the concept of this, like you see them in full clothing and they've got backpacks and all of this. It's just there's something I don't know, man. There's like I said, it tickled my brain in a way I don't know.
Hmm.
I want to read it because there's something about the artwork that you've shown. It's like that's intriguing in a and yeah, it's just very, very intriguing.
Well,
Uh,
there is a bit of that anthropomorphic, like bone-esque uh, world that we're building, right? And that's Mitch. That's Mitch's. So Mitch, it's called the Dwell, and I'm not giving too much away with that. So it's gonna. I think what he wants to do is tell these stories within this world called the Dwell, which essentially is parallel to our world. It kind of bleeds into ours sometimes. So you're seeing some of that influence in the way that some of these animals are dressing. With it does take place in the 40s or 30s. Sorry, the 30s. So you're going to have that bit of that style of clothing and
You gonna get some zoo suits?
what's that?
Are they gonna have some zoo suits?
Yeah,
Like
I
the
mean, why
pinstripe
not?
suits and stuff?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I
Well,
mean,
yeah, it's
like,
kind of
what you can't tell me in the 1930s, the mafia style clothing, the three-piece suit with a trench coat was not prevalent and awesome and
I'm not. But
still
are you talking to
timeless to
me,
this day.
Hardaway? Because
Yes.
okay. Because firstly, Hardaway. No, that wasn't why I thought that. I thought that because my brain instantly went, yeah, I'm Cuban Pete. I'm the king. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Mark. Check out that past episode. Right. As far as this art that I've been mentioning, though, if you're watching it and not listening to it, you've been able to see it, and you can take your own thoughts as far as from looking at that piece of artwork. Um, but yeah, no, you just made my brain go Cuban Pete, bro. That's all. That's totally nothing. But yeah, no, I totally agree. But to see a Sasquatch in his zoot, that would
yeah.
be intriguing.
There is a so it's you're not that far off, Jay, because there is a bit of I also I mean I don't know what we're going to do next with the Sasquatch. I don't know if we're ever going to see them again or not. That's Mitch's call. But I could almost imagine seeing like the dad playing some kind of sax or something, you know, some jazz or I don't know. There's just something. Yeah, for sure. He's part of a band. That and who knows? Maybe that'll happen. But and I'm glad you will hear. We've heard it here first. So you know, let's make it
Yeah.
happen. These are all going
Give
to be
him
like
this.
one shots, so it's
And
possible we'll
if
see that.
if he does play an instrument, give him the saxophone, not the trumpet. The
Yeah,
trumpet's a little
yeah,
played out, and technically the saxophone's played out too. But the saxophone just is a little bit jazzier. Because can you imagine getting one of those scenes where he like flips it back
yeah.
and the hair goes? You know what I'm saying? Be like, ah. All right, I'm done.
No, I love it, man. It's great. That could totally be. But there are going to
He
be
just
these
keeps.
one shot stories, and each one may deal with something different, but they're all going to be in that world. So who knows? You know? We can see some kind of nightclub in the dwell.
I feel you. But I got a question for Unknown. Why you get so mad when I give ideas and whatnot? Or I
no,
say something like,
it was just kind of funny, and my brain was on something else, and I'm having 16 thoughts, like I always do, Hardaway. Just because one of the thoughts makes me go, "What the hell?" doesn't mean it was the thought coming out of your mouth, bro. Don't take shit so personal. Jesus Christ, right? Like,
that's my job.
to take shit
You guys are
personally.
it's like you're in a relationship or something. The way you guys bicker.
We are.
Yeah,
It's called. We've
yeah,
been working together for far too long, and
yeah.
I love him to death.
Yeah, it was exactly what Hardaway said as far as from doing this show, as far as, if you listen to me and DKV, it's the same way, and probably everybody from Zay. Like, if I got all of Zay to host the show, the guests probably wouldn't get to speak. And he'd be like, what's the point of me even coming on? It was just you six flickering back and forth.
It's like you ask him a question. No, you ask him a question. All right, so what? Okay, all right. What's Sasquatch? Your Sasquatch in your comic book. What would be their favorite candy bar?
Like the Zagnut. It feels like it should be the Zagnut.
That was a quick answer.
I mean that's pretty
I'm
appropriate,
honestly
though.
surprised how quick everybody answers that question.
I don't know,
Has
bro.
anybody answered a Zagnut before?
No.
No.
Yeah, we've
That's
had
that's one. It's a candy that you don't really see too often, right? Or is it Zagnut? Zagnut, not Zagnut. Zagnut. That's what it is. Sorry.
Oh,
So,
yeah, there it is. Yeah, you're right. Zagnut.
Yeah,
It's,
but
again, not a
I don't
candy
even
you
know
see
if
that
I've had
often.
one.
Yeah, like it's really not something that you see often at all, right? Like it's I can't even think of the last time I've seen one of them damn candy bars, to be real honest, right? I want to know. Let's say you're giving a theoretical, Keith. Like,
Okay.
I want to know, is there, as an artist, is there a writer out there you'd really like to put your pen behind, or brush, or 18
Oh no,
different
pen
18 different thousand? Ugh.
There's somebody that I would like to work with that like that's like a up and coming, or something, like what, like somebody I know personally, or just like a theoretical, like if anybody in the world
It's just
I
like,
could work with.
it's just like, is there somebody in the comic industry that you are a fan of, as a being a fan of comics, which you obviously are, man? You can't pick between Spider-Man or the X-Men. Come on, dude, pick one.
No,
Like,
I know like Neil Gaiman, Mike Mignola, those two right off the top of my head. I would love to work with Gail Simone. I mean, there's and
I
then
asked for one, Hardaway. He gave a laundry list. You see this crap?
Well, you ask a question and you shall receive answers.
I'm not going to give you an answer that you want. I'm going to give you an answer that I want to give.
I don't,
Exactly.
but I asked for one answer, man. It's like when a motherfucker says, it's like when somebody asks a yes or no question, you're like, well, look, man, I don't know. There's blah, blah, blah. It's like, motherfucker, it's a yes or no. Do you want a donut or not?
Well,
Hey, man, maybe I'm a
sometimes.
politician.
Ooh, got him.
Okay, this interview really is over. Everyone,
No. He may be over for him, but it's not over for me.
fuck that. You
So
said
my question
politician, Hardaway. I'm
is
pressing
this:
stop on the
What do you
recording.
think? No, what do you think of digital comics, webtoons, and its impact on the industry as such? Since he always asks the question, I'm gonna ask it this time.
You really gonna like give me shit about repeating questions and then take one of the questions that I've used repetitively and used it? Whatever. Go ahead,
Yes.
Keith, answer the question. But
So I'm actually going to talk about, because webtoons really isn't so much of a thing right now, like a problem in the industry. You're talking about the AI, right? What's going on with the
No. Oh my God,
no.
though. Look,
you want to know just about web comics?
Yeah, he just wants to know as far as like the impact when the industry turned and paper became less and less and less, and you got more people reading it in a digital format. But if you want to get into that topic, we can totally touch on that topic at least for a couple minutes. I will say
I've got a lot to say.
Huh?
I've got a lot to say about it. I got a lot to say about
Oh.
it. That's why I wasn't sure you meant.
Oh.
Well, I mean, I'll
Keith.
say this: web. You know what? It hasn't done anything to. It's enhanced, right? I knew that at a time when like Comixology started becoming a thing, and people were like, "Oh, it's going to be the death of print." It hasn't happened, right? People still buy. I do. I mean, I know young people do. They still buy physical copies, and if they buy digital, so what? I mean, it's just a medium for reading comics.
It's a purchase, right? And for some reason it costs exactly the same amount. I don't know why the hell you wouldn't just get the physical, but that's just my opinion. Like, as far as if you want to get something when it's newly released, I find that so fucking odd. It really, really confuses me, Keith. Sincerely, yeah. And I know we've had. Oh God, I can't remember exactly. Somebody gave almost the exact answer you just did, but this is getting close to episode 30, and I can't remember everybody's
All
answer
right.
for every
Well, he
question. It
wants
makes
to
my head
fast
hurt,
forward and talk
but
about AI.
yeah. That's so. And just so everyone knows, we got an episode coming up here soon, with a collection of individuals where we're going to get in depth, into AI art. Yeah, but what's your opinion of that, man? I mean, I know it's definitely something at the moment that is a hot topic, to say the least.
So here's the thing: it's a technology that was created by programmers without really any thought to how it affects the artists. They're the programmers and the tech companies are just there to make money. How it's released into the world wasn't really their concern, which happens often. When somebody creates technology. The way that this works, I'm not necessarily against AI. I'm against how it's not in its present form. It's just not responsible. It's scrubbing artists' work without their consent, right? Without their copyright, without getting authorization of their copyright. And until we can get to a point where there is responsibility behind it, so whether companies like studios, they basically say, hey, listen, if you're using AI, it's got to be done with the consent of the person whose images you're using. You're either got to have to pay them or get permission of some sort. There's got to be some copyright laws that start to come into play in regards to this, right? And there isn't yet. So, for the time being, I know it's the genie's out of the bottle, but as an artistic community, as a community, people can come together and just say, listen, let's put a pin on it for now. Let's try it. Like, I know conventions are going to start to say no AI. It's going to be hard to prove, but they're going to basically say if you're discovered to have AI prompts in the work, I'm sorry, we're going to have a conversation about that. You may not be able to table here. So there's going to be that kind of thing happening. You're going to have companies that are it's already starting to happen. You're going to have publishers that are basically going to say, we're not going to take any AI submissions, right? And then eventually, once there's responsibility, we can start to talk about using it.
Right? Okay.
Wait. Hold on, Hardaway, because you say your piece in a moment, right? Oh God, this is about to get real interesting. Me and Hardaway had a discussion about this earlier, and he sent me 4 images of Deadpool and was like, "Tell me which one's AI." And I'm like, "Well, right there, you've proven your point, because somebody made those images of Deadpool that the AI is using, and they should have to either give consent or be getting paid for the fact that image is being used to make another image of Deadpool."
Really?
Right?
So how much did Marvel pay for Deadpool to DC? How much?
Them motherfuckers. That's no.
No, miss me with that. Miss me with that. Hold on.
No.
Real talk.
Hardaway.
Out of all of
No,
the characters, how many
Hardaway.
people? How many
Hey,
centuries for
I'm
Superman?
gonna say one more thing, and you're gonna shut the fuck up, because I'm gonna say it. All right. You're talking about
Say your piece.
You're talking about the fact that Deadpool is kind of a copy of Deathstroke. Okay, but it's
He
not a
is a
fucking
flat out
okay,
copy. But move
but he's not
on.
a fucking image of Deathstroke. He's completely. There are aspects of Deathstroke and Deadpool, both character-wise and visually, that are very, very, very different. There are other ones that are very, very, very similar. Motherfucker, you sent me 4 images of Deadpool.
That's true.
That's
I
what I'm
did,
saying. there
But
was
besides that,
nobody took something and like, motherfucker, if you want to get technical about it, that's why when Deadpool kills the universe, they did this, and Keith backed me up on this. Like, if you go back and you kill Moby Dick, Namor ain't there no more. All right, you kill Sherlock Holmes, Batman don't exist. Like, you eliminate these things, the inspiration that they became, but that's inspiration,
yeah,
man. That's not taking something and just giving a
that's still
regurgitated version
influence.
of it.
That's still influence, bro. No, miss me with that one because here's the thing: Sentry, Superman, Blue Marvel, Superman,
Same.
Captain Marvel, Superman. I will keep going with caked ass niggas flying around with Superman's powers. Now hold on, why aren't everybody paying homage for that? Now on top of that, since the 16th century, why ain't people paying homage to China, England, Wales, Ireland for every dragon that they created? I don't see anybody paying homage, royalties, or anything of the sort. Now, here's my favorite part about all this and whatnot. And I mind you, I really love art. I really love art. I want everybody to do this and stuff like that and make their money. But my whole thing is this: for I made food, and everybody told me how the food industry was getting ready to get taken over by machines. All right, and there are machines that can make some of the best food that you have ever tasted, and I've had some of it. It was good, but I'll tell you right now that mom and pop shop around the corner is still going to whoop its ass. All right. What it's going to do is going to add a humongous form of competition. If you're good, you're good. You're not, you're not. That's what's going to sell. That's what's not going to sell. What I should say is everybody should be like, if it's AI generated, it's AI generated. But when it comes to the idea of saying, oh, they're using these images as a reference, all right, and it's not royalty free, though most of them actually are, because you can find royalty free images of Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, every superhero in the world, every manga character in the world. You can find royalty free images of them. If they use those images, which I'm not saying every AI company in the world is using them, because you know some AI companies and companies in general are just trash and they're just evil, and they will steal Apple until the day they die. But that's not the ones I'm talking about specifically. So when it comes to the whole idea of like images themselves being taken, I call for the idea of what's the difference between a reference data and your memory data? Because when you are drawing an image, you did not create every aspect of that image from the bottom of your mind, because I draw too. And if I have an image of a dynamite stick smiling, lighting itself on fire. I did not make that dynamite stick. I did not come up with the image of the teeth and that smile like that. You know what I'm saying? None of this was just completely made up out of my mind. It all came from multiple things that I've seen and experienced throughout life, and that's called a memory.
The point though is that you're the one creating it though, right? So you're using your skill, your experience, your life, the way that you've lived your life to come up with that. You're with the AI prompt, you're pressing a button. You don't have to have any of that. All you need to do is understand what the word means and press a button. But you don't have to understand what the word means. The computer does, which your brain itself. The computer is all it is just an algorithm. Essentially, it's been loaded with a bunch of words that when an image comes up, it connects with the word. That's it. It's not thinking. It's not doing anything. But beyond that, because we can talk about this for an hour, and I'm not going to change your mind. What I would like to say is this: if you're going to use AI, then be competitive with other artists and charge a livable wage. Charge something so that at least you're competitive with those artists that aren't using AI. If you come up with something that takes you a minute, if you come up with 50 images in an hour, and you're basically, you have a client that wants one of those images, charge the same amount that I would charge. That's fair.
That's completely and utterly fair. You know, that, like, I don't believe in lowballing to the point of like no return.
Real
that's
quick,
just
Hardaway, if you completely and utterly think that that's what's going to happen,
I'm not going to get into it because it's one of those things that we can go back and forth, and I'm going to have a point, you're going to have a point, all I care about with an artist that is going to, or somebody that plans on using AI is what I just said, right?
Oh, no, and that is like, this man deserves a Logic fucking award. We should have that.
I will
like
say,
a little
Keith,
thing that
I will
floats up
say,
onto the
Keith,
screen
like,
that says
yeah,
awarded
like,
the Logic Award.
Now, in regards to somebody who doesn't understand AI and they want to, all I'm saying in that sense is please hold off, don't use it, just support the community of artists as you know, telling you, hey, it's not responsible at this point. If you want, I know people that are going to use it, and I've heard their argument, and all I'm saying in that is fine, charge competitively, chart and make sure you're making a living wage from it, because
And don't
really at
steal
the end of the
images,
day,
man.
really, at the end of the day, and this is just a bigger topic we can get into, but beginning artists, because we don't have union, we don't have guilds, we don't have any kind of accreditation that says you're part of something and you have to charge a certain amount for doing it. One of the things you have, if you're a creative, is that you start creating something, and because you don't think that you deserve to get paid enough for it, you charge way too less or way too little. And so what I'm saying is, no, if you're going to do this professionally, I don't care if you're a teenager right out of high school, or if you're in high school, charge competitively. Make sure you're going to be able to live off of whatever that is, right? Because that is also a huge issue in the industry, is that people are not, if you're coming to me for a page rate, and then you go to the next guy and his rate is like a third of mine, and I'm doing this, you know, I've been doing this for over 10 years. If you've been doing it for a couple of years, please charge a little bit more, right? Because you deserve it. The artist, you know, it's just, you don't have the experience, you still deserve it. So
I
that's
agree
all
wholeheartedly.
I'm just going to say that. We can move on to.
All right, wait,
I
real
agree.
quick though, real
I
quick.
got, hold on. I gotta say this real quick, brother. I gotta say this real quick. For one, I agree wholeheartedly. The whole idea of lowballing is trash, and you're right. If you do charge a competitive wage, it forces everybody else to stay in that area, which means the money stays flowing, the money stays the same rather than go down. That's like I said, bro, you got to come up with a Logic Award, little
Yeah,
trophy that comes floating
that was
around.
pretty logical. Well, I've got 2 points. The first point being, oh my God, Hardaway, I think I'm gonna have Keith on the fucking AI episode instead of you. It will not go sideways because everyone is
Will hate me.
God.
We need to have this conversation. It's healthy to have the conversation. I don't have a problem doing it. I just, it's when we have differing point of views and nobody wants to like listen. That's not going to do us any good, right?
I agree. I just believe that AI is one of those things where it's a entity of its own. Since it's an artificial intelligence, it's an intelligence that I made of itself, so therefore I consider it a different
that
entity.
intelligent. It's not that intelligent yet, Hardaway. When it gets that intelligent, we as a species should really realize.
Hey, we always said Furbies weren't that intelligent until I hacked the computer.
Hey, look, like I said, until we're
I'm just saying.
No, dude, it's not that intelligent.
The original Furby was not that intelligent. Oh, it just smiles. Oh, it just laughs. Opens its eyes. I took the batteries out that motherfucker. How did it save a charge?
I think we're talking about child play, aren't we? Something that's like been possessed by some demon and comes to life.
Hardaway?
Yeah, they're called Furbies.
Okay.
Y'all don't remember this? Am I the only one?
No, I know it.
I know what a Furby is.
Y'all don't remember them creepy little things and how they used to do all sorts of nasty, like I'm not talking about like nasty, but you know, like really creepy shit. Oh, look, man, y'all just making me feel weird.
I feel like you've woken up in the middle of the night and had a Furby like on your chest staring at you. And you're like, I don't even own a Furby. Where did this thing come from?
My grandma had a Furby, and we took the batteries out this motherfucker. And it was on the corner in the little those armoires. All right, so it was in the corner in the armoire. And I swear on everything I love, I will wake up in the middle of the night and I will hear this motherfucker laughing. And I'm like, why are you have no battery, no energy, none. Okay, and then his eyes open and like, and it's like, All right, look, there's some demons up in here or something, because there's no,
Wait. Again,
no.
Hardaway.
Mm,
I thought you said earlier before we started the show that you didn't drink.
I don't drink,
Okay.
That doesn't
and I'm
necessarily
not
require
hallucinating.
drinking.
I'm not
That's a little
lying.
bit of
I'm not even that. Hey,
All right.
look,
Whatever.
that was when I was
Look.
young
All
when
right. Well,
Furbies
I ain't
first
even got
came
the
out. My
stage.
grandma
Shut
had the
up,
first generation Furby,
Hardaway.
where they had artificial intelligence and they learned and they talked to technology. These things were creepy as fuck.
All right, whatever. Look, check it. I ain't even gotten to my second damn point yet, and it's like 5 minutes later. Jesus Christ, that wasn't supposed to take that long, right?
He's gonna say something about the human element.
me.
No, fool. See, I'm the unknown factor, man. You act like you know what I'm gonna ask. Good luck with that. No, I'm curious, Keith. What do you think a competitive wage would be for someone using an AI program, based on the fact that
Ooh,
they're using a program that has the resources that it does, as opposed to someone who would have to skillfully learn how to
yeah,
draw
like what
every
is the
damn word?
average
Like,
page rate, and
yeah,
then what should
like, because look,
first the
I,
average page rate.
well, because you can
that's
check
gonna
out a pattern.
it's gonna be dependent on where you're from. What like obviously if you're coming from the Philippines, I don't know this. I don't know this for a fact. So because I'm out of Canada, but a majority of my clients are U.S. based. So I charge U.S. page rates, right? And that could anywhere from like depending what it is, 150 to $300 for something like that. It could be more depending on your if you're work for some of the bigger companies. But when it comes to competitive, let's just make it more of a wider net competitive rate. If you're dealing with a client, your client's going to want to have choices. Your client's going to want to be able to go, okay, I want this. Can you change this to this and blah blah blah. So even using AI and even having the ability to come up with 50 different designs, you're still going to have to figure out how to use some kind of skill to get it more specifically for that client, right? So, again, I'm not talking about never ever using AI because it doesn't do any good. I'm just saying now it's not responsible. But hypothetically, if you're going to use it in your workflow and you're going to have a client that you're there's going to pay you, you're going to still have to, like maybe it may take you a bit less time. It still may take you some time to create whatever it is that the client wants. The problem that we're going to have though so if the artist is taken out of the equation, a company basically goes, we need like some kind of teddy bear smoking marijuana for our next poster. They would have hired an artist to do it. Now they're just going to cut the middleman out and just use the AI for it. And that's already happening, right? That's where there's no, again, depending on how they get the imagery, there's going to be
All right.
some ethical issues with that because, they may have used somebody else's image without their permission, or if they didn't, if it's all public domain, it's going to, for sure, you're going to have a lot of artists that are going to potentially lose out on work. I'm not sure there's much that's going to be done about that. But
You said it's been used in certain. Can you give an example? Like as far as like a film that used that for a poster?
I don't. I know that like with book covers, like book cover artists have been losing out on some of this work. It's just one of those things where if you're a company that arguably speaking would have tried to lowball anyway, this is probably a perfect way for you to cut out the middle person. But if you're an artist that, let's say you company approaches you and part of your workflow is AI, what you charge should be, what you would have charged previous to using it. If you would have charged, let's say $500,000, $2,000 for a poster design, then charge the same amount just because you're using
You'd be a fool
AI.
not to.
Right,
I'm sorry,
but see,
you'd
here's
be
the
a fool
thing.
not to.
but the point is, you may have somebody who's coming out of school who has no idea what they would charge, and now all of a sudden they're going, well, it only took me an hour to do this, so I'm going to, I don't know, $100, right?
So,
and I'm saying to those artists, no, charge more. Even if you think it doesn't take as long, it's still gonna you should still be charging more, because technically it probably will take you longer than you think.
You know what? You just literally started a new series of questions for us. We're going to start asking every artist and writer what they believe new people should start charging for their work and whatnot. Yeah. So we can, because when you do that, you can control the market, because you are technically freelance workers and whatnot. You should be able to control the market, and allowing companies to sit there and go in there and be like, oh, well, no, we're going to find this one dude, da-da-da-da-da. But if we can get everybody to sit there and go, hey, no, this is what we charge. This is because, like you said, a lot of people don't know. I don't know. He doesn't know.
There's resources you can get from, like there's books that tell you how much you should charge. You go to YouTube, and there's like people like Will Terry that'll tell you how much like a children's book you should pay for. Now, here's the thing. Obviously, comic books is a different animal, because, for the most part, artists kind of know like what page rates should be. But when it comes to like advertising, it comes to children's books, branding, all that kind of stuff, it may be a bit different depending on the region you're from, right? Like if you're in the South, standard of living may be different than it is, let's say, in New York City. So a New York City graphic artist may charge $100 an hour because you have no choice. Whereas living down south, you may go with $50 an hour. But if you're coming out of like Ringling, and you're using this AI and going, well, it only took, I came up with like 30 designs in like a minute. Well, I'm going to only charge $25, right? And maybe they figure that if they can get so many clients, or that it's their first client, they'll get more clients, blah, blah, blah. No, charge at least something that would be a livable wage. So try to get, find out what other artists in the area are charging that maybe have a bit more experience than you. If it's $500 for a brand, creating like a logo, or $1,000 or whatever, what have you. You need to do your due diligence, regardless of whether you're using AI, because, as we've said, it means it's going to ice out those artists that have years of experience. It happens in a lot of creative fields, unfortunately. You have a new digital camera, I can now take a picture, but that you don't have the experience, you don't have, and so you get all these people who when you went from the old a camera that you had to load film into, now you have a digital camera. Well, people can just charge so much less, they think, because a wedding photographer would charge $10,000. I'm only going to charge $1,000. Well, all these wedding photographers are now out of job, right? So it's the same thing. We just need to be charging something competitive. If you're a comic book artist, depending on, obviously it's going to vary. If it's your creation, that you're working with somebody, maybe you're not going to charge anything right away because it's yours. But also at the same time, somebody comes up to you and they want to create it together with you, you should be getting paid something, because it takes a lot of time, right? But generally speaking, if all of us are as creators advocating for some kind of livable wage, whatever it is in your area. If you need to make $500 a week, $1,000 a week in your area, and this is going to take you a week's worth of work, then charge that much. Because I don't care if you live in your parents' basement. I don't care if you're independently wealthy. You need to be charging appropriately, because that's how other artists, who've been around, who are doing it correctly, they lose work, right?
Sound fucking argument. Yet again, the logical word should just roll around.
And Hardaway, you know what I have to say to negate, because there people are greedy, and people will figure out they can use AI and make thousands and thousands of images very, very quickly, especially if they have fast computers, and they will undercharge anyone that can actually sit
here's
and
the
do
thing.
it by
I
hand.
use AI art and whatnot, and I'm telling you right now, It is annoying. AI art is one of the most annoying fucking programs, and I used all of them. It is a very annoying program because look, you be sitting there going in the full detail of exactly what you want, and it will pop out with Mega Man, and you like, I told you a shark with a car, and they'll be like, Mega Man, and you're like, the fuck is wrong with you? Okay, so no, like, no, the AI art is still finicky. It is still, the programs are still like junk for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can pop out some pretty abstract shit.
Look, will you just send me the link to one of those, like the one that's real popular right now, just so I can type some things in and see what it does, just so I can at least. Well, I don't intend to make any money off this. Yeah, because especially if it's as annoying as he says, I'll end up, if I ended up trying to do that on top of everything I'm trying to do with the show and everything, I throw an axe at the TV.
But what I will say is this: I have drawn, like hand drawn some nifty little things. You know what I'm saying? Like a little sketch, this outline, thrown it on there and been like, let's see what this does. And it's done some pretty nifty shit. But it's still, I had to press that. I think it took me an hour to come up with a fucking a half a samurai, and I mean this literally because it was a full image, but half of it was fucking viable. You know what I'm saying? To use as a fucking phone cover thingy, wallpaper thingy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, no, it can generate some pretty nifty images because I got plenty. But when you're like trying to get into something specific and you're like, man, I need it to look cool, pose, make the motherfucker do like the wall style shit. No, it ain't gonna do it that easily. It's gonna take sometimes hours on bullshit. And yeah, when you get done with it, it should have took you 20 if you were doing it by hand. You know what I'm saying? But it's just not. It's not like a minute, unfortunately.
I'm just curious, Keith. Have you touched the AR? Have you used the AR at all? Like one of the programs, just kind of played around with it at any point?
No, I haven't. When it first started coming around, populating, I'll be honest with you. Like when it comes to, I'm a digital artist, traditionally trained, so I use Photoshop pretty exclusively, or Adobe, I should say. And when some of these like Clip Studio and all that kind of stuff, some of the other, I'm sure you're familiar with like Clip Studio. I just don't have the patience for it. So when it comes to any of that kind of stuff, I'm just like, man, I don't have a huge amount of interest because I'm trying to figure out the program I got in front of me, and it's taken me 20 plus years to get to a point with Photoshop where I still struggle sometimes with it. So, you know, I mean, it takes a while. I mean, if we want to talk about digital art too, which in my process, I can tell you that when people ask about, well, you know, you can take reference in Photoshop, take a photo in Photoshop and make it look like an illustration. You still have to know what the hell you're doing in Photoshop. Photoshop is a dense program. It is not easy to figure out. So you need to at least take a lot of time to learn that and figure out how to get it, kind of like what you're saying there, Jay. Try to get it to the way you want it. So I use Photoshop, but I also, because I'm traditionally trained, I understand perspective, I understand anatomy, composition, color theory, lighting, all that kind of stuff, and I'm just using it Photoshop, and Photoshop can shortcut things, and it also can't do certain things for me. So, you know, I mean, I can't get brushes exactly the way I would want to, the way I can do it traditionally. Like I can't get an originator piece of art from Photoshop. I can do like if somebody goes, hey, I want a commission from you, I'll just tell them I'm only going to print it for you. I'm not going to print it for anybody else. But when you do something traditionally, that's it. It's one and done for somebody unless you photocopy it. So yeah, there's differences when it comes to digital and traditional, but digital.
Like when you're grabbing when you grab the fucking pencil tool and you're like, okay, I want it to be like a number 2 pencil. So you're thinking it's going to have the same form as a graphite. No, the fuck it don't.
And also like if you get lag going, it's not going to go
Oh my
across your screen
God.
the way you want it to, and takes you out of the whole experience. So, or
And
the
then you gotta
quality of
go yeah, and then that meticulous eraser to go in and be like, all right, this line got a little out of the box. All right, we got it. Woo!
yeah. So
It's annoying.
I mean, one of the things I am trying to do when it comes to the whole art process is be a bit more transparent about it, because I think one of the issues that people have is they see artists creating these what looks like magical, oh, that looks amazing that you just created that, but we know it takes hours to get there, and that's not counting the years of experience, schooling, and
Oh,
all the structure you've got to get to that illustration that you've done. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to be a bit more transparent about it, how I use reference, how I use my program, so people can understand that this is a lot of work and you're paying for that work, right? It's something that, as we're talking about livable wage, it could take me a couple of days to do a page, right?
yeah. See, and that's for anybody who checked, man, it should definitely have dropped unless I decided to shuffle it up and do something else. But Mike Ruth sketching a real dope swamp man. It was just nice and
Yeah.
smooth. You should be able to actually check that out on the show on a past episode. I don't know what number. He's the only guy, and I'm going to convince. You just gave me an idea for the table I'm doing, which we've got coming up, where we're going to get in depth on AI with 3 artists and a writer. Oh, wait, no, my friend. Maybe they're all. Man, look, too many people. But I love all y'all that have joined the quest. But as we've established, I'm terrible with names. I screwed his up, plus the guest before it, and I'll probably screw up.
And the guest before that,
Yeah.
and the one before that,
Man,
and
no. There was like one.
Hey, hey, listen,
Yeah.
you were close. I'm going to say this. We need to definitely get people's last names right. It's important. But you've tried, and like next time you may get a little bit closer.
Well, no, it's the Grachow,
oh
right?
shit.
It's just Grachow, right?
It's Grachow. See,
Grachow,
you're getting
Grachow,
closer.
Gotcha.
Grachow. I don't know why I want to say whatever. Grachow. My bad, Keith. And then that's why I said I typically ask that question at the beginning of the show before we start the show, so I don't look like whatever. But I'm curious, man. If you're traditionally trained, what made you decide to do it in a digital aspect? You know what I mean? Because like you guys were both addressing, there's so many differences with it doing that. I mean, it might be easier to fix a mistake real quickly if you make some. I mean, because if you make a mistake in ink, bad on a page, you might have just boned the whole page. You know what I mean? But if you do it digitally, it's not an issue. So why the pad as opposed to the pad?
Hey, I get it. It's kind of a circuitous answer. I think I said the word right. It's essentially, I started off in the '90s as a graphic designer. I went to school for that, and it was the transitioning of traditional graphic design to computer graphic design. Right, I was kind of right in the middle of that, so we had to learn using Photoshop, and I still learned how to cut and paste traditionally, put logos and stuff together by drawing them out and cutting them out and all that stuff. But I also had to do it in
Man, I did
Photoshop.
that too.
Yeah.
I went to school for graphic design too. They still taught us how to do that in 2006. 2006, 2008, around that area. They still did that. Good times, man.
And I mean, it's a good skill set to learn traditionally as well. It helps, dexterity and all that kind of stuff. But I wanted to be a comic book artist probably since I was a little kid, but I was too afraid, honestly. I figured being a graphic designer was more practical. I'd get paid for it. And so I went into graphic design in the '90s and did that professionally for a bit. But I really, really wanted to be a comic book artist. But by the time I decided to say, fuck this, I'm not going to chicken out anymore, I'm going to commit to it. Well, I'd already been using Photoshop for over a decade. So I just felt like I was pretty comfortable already trying it. I mean, I still draw traditionally. If you look on my Instagram, you'll see a bunch of that stuff. I'm always trying to, I think drawing traditionally and drawing digitally kind of exercises different parts of the brain. So I'm always trying to do both, but mainly because at this point it saves on paper. There's always like you find your perfect like brush pen and then they discontinue it, right? Or so you have to buy like 100 of them before you know, it just, I know artists that go through this all the time. For me, it's kind of like I don't have to worry about that stuff. I can just
real quickly,
always work digitally.
I thought you didn't curse, man. What was that?
Who said I didn't curse?
You did.
When?
You said fuck. I don't curse.
When?
That was your answer to favorite curse word. Fuck, I don't curse.
You said fuck,
right,
I don't curse. You didn't
But
catch that?
look, he typed that out. So I was figuring, maybe it didn't count, right? Whatever. That's neither here nor damn well there. Right? And, like, sincerely. Man, can I say, though, I noticed you really do like the classics as far as films, man. I mean, you go Star Wars, A New Hope, which is, I can't, like, Star Wars has been a favorite film, I don't know how many times. Like, well, one of the original 3. I'd have to go back and look at every questionnaire. I swear to God, I'm going to start keeping track of how many times people answer Star Wars for their favorite film, because it's Hardaway. It's been a lot, has it not?
I mean,
out of 30 people, bro, it's been a percentage like that's double digit at least, I think. And then you go with Superman with Reeves and Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. I want to know, bro, as somebody I mean, you've obviously been a fan of the comics since you were a kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. What do you think looking at it now, man, as far as, back in the day, it was on the spinner rack, right? But it was the nerd thing.
Yeah.
Now it's in the movie theater and it's the popular thing.
Yeah. So what are my thoughts on it?
Yeah.
The more the merrier, man. Like I don't have a problem with people who have as long as they come into it somehow. I don't care that it's a 6-year-old kid that's only seen the movies. Hopefully it means that their dad brings them to a convention and introduces them to the comic book. The more the merrier. I think I'm happy that we have all the people that are into it now.
What do you think about the ones that are like, oh, I'm a comic book fan, and they'll say that, but like when you talk to them a while, it's like you're a fan of comic book movies. You don't know shit about comic books, right? Right, and there are those, and whatever, to each their own.
Yeah.
Consume your medium how you want. I just want to know your opinion, because I know there are people who haven't ran across a creator yet. If you're like fuck those people, I'll be like, really, dude? Damn, Keith, that was harsh.
No, but here's an opportunity for you to go, oh, so do you know where they came from? Right? Like if you're meeting somebody that's like, oh, I'm a comic book fan, I only watch the movies, blah, 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 then you can say, well, what kind of stuff do you like? What are you into? Maybe they're more into the anime. You introduce them to some manga, right? If they're more into, if they just, I get all the time when I'm selling my books, oh, I only read Batman. It's my opportunity, have them in front of my table to go, well, here's something that isn't Batman, but it's about, a cool action, takes place in a colony of Mars or something like that in one of my comics, and to have them look through it. And if they're not interested, they're not interested. But I do get kids or I get adults who are like, oh, this is kind of cool. I didn't, it's my first introduction to something different. Right. And now we've opened up their mind to some, a new story that isn't, Batman, DC, Marvel, whatever. Right. So it's an opportunity. That's all it is. Otherwise, I'm completely happy that they're into the movies and stuff, TV shows, movies, whatever.
Well, what's your opinion of the fact of like how it's become pop culture now, and like to the point where, and we've discussed this previously on the show, that there are so many comic book movies and films and TV shows that there are people consuming these shows that have no idea of their source material.
Right. Well, again, as I said, it's your opportunity to educate them on it. I mean, I don't know what
Don't
else
they
to
know?
tell you. Like if you meet somebody who has no clue what it is, oh yeah, I've only seen the movies or TV shows. You go, okay, well, this is where they came from, and let them know, and hopefully that'll kind of go, oh, I didn't realize. I run into people like that all the time at shows that it's their first convention. They've only watched the movie because they're, that's what their friends are into, and they've watched the movies, and they're like, they now love the movies, and they're dressing up in the cosplay of the movies, and they're going to their first convention, and now it's your opportunity as a comic book creator to go, hey, how are you doing? Come to my table. And they tell you, oh, I don't know anything other than the movies. Well, then you introduce them to something, and that's, I've done that many times. So to
Okay.
your question of what do you do about that, you talk to them about it. And if you can't win them over, maybe the next person will.
Well, let me
But
say.
if not, whatever, it's fine.
Oh, let me say that. I mean, obviously, when you're doing that at a con, you're trying to be like, hey, I have this material, right? Let's say you're not at a convention, you just meet somebody out randomly talking about, and they start saying they're a fan of the superhero films. We'll go with this superhero genre. I mean, because there's, like I said, there's 1,000 places I could go with this. Oh, I love watching The Boys. Oh, I love Umbrella Academy. I love just the MCU or just what DC does. Blah blah blah. Blah. We're just gonna say just superhero films for the sake of I'm not making my brain hurt, Keith, or yours for that matter, right?
Yep.
And you're not trying to pitch your own shit. What book would you lead them to try and get them into comic books, knowing just that bit of information? They like cape films.
They like cave films. You know what's really good? The Ultimates. Any of the Ultimate, like Spider-Man and all that kind of stuff, because it's not that long ago that it started. It's a infant universe, and people don't have to feel like they have to have a whole lot of knowledge of what came before. And because you have Miles Morales now, in the he's already in the Spider-Verse, right? The animated movies. So
Yeah.
people are familiar with that. I always thought Ultimates is really cool, because the Ultimate Universe, I should say, is really cool because, yeah, it's a really easy jumping on point for people, right? If they're going to get into like the capes. Another, let's see, Invincible's another good one, because it's
Whoa, whoa,
100
whoa.
something issues.
Can I just say, you went like something that's like, hey man, you could pretty much let anybody read that. It's the Ultimates. It's pretty kid friendly, except for certain shit.
No, it's not.
But a lot of the Ultimates is kid friendly, man. Like the Ultimate Fantastic Four stuff, I would say you could totally let a kid read. That most of Spider-Man
Spider-Man,
shit. Yeah.
X-Men.
Except
Yeah.
look, the last issue of where before Miles Morales came into it, yo, that shit got me right here. Right here in the fields.
Or
Like, so hard.
afterwards when Spider-Man becomes like one
Right.
of the biggest
Right.
on
Whatever.
the planet.
All right, we ain't getting into all
Like
that with yeah. But I do think
and
you
then
gave a great answer. Well, hold on, no, I think you
Hulk
gave a
is
great answer
eating
in there.
people,
Well,
bruh. Like
We're
remember
talking
you
about
do
the
not
Ultimates.
oh,
Ultimates, yeah.
yeah, but
yeah.
it's but then you went to like such a darker place in my opinion, because Invincible is way darker than the Ultimates. Like,
Well, we're not talking about a
fair,
specific age group here, are we?
fair
I
enough,
mean, I'm just
fair enough.
talking about somebody
All right,
who's coming into it. That
well,
you're asking me,
all right,
somebody to
yeah, yeah,
introduce somebody
all
to
right,
it,
yeah. Well,
that
well,
has no,
then
yeah.
you've got two of the top three companies. Is there something you would recommend from the other?
DC. I'm not as big. I don't really know a lot of DC stuff. I mean, I do know that DC has like there's graphic novels that are just standalones, that are all ages, I think. Um, so if it's for a kid, they have like the Wonder Womans and I think they have a Zatanna. the 1001. They've got for young people essentially. It's just like
I'm honestly
all
not
ages
familiar.
graphic novel.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that.
I know that. I've seen those.
But come on, Keith, you ain't just gonna go deep and say Watchmen.
Watchmen's. I mean, for somebody who you're basically telling somebody who has never read a comic book to go into Watchmen. It's like, hey, you've never gone to school before. Why don't you go to like Yale? You can't do 2 know.
Yeah, you can't do 2 plus 2. Can you do this?
If it's somebody who is like, you have to read the person. Obviously, if you know somebody's like super wanting to like get into the nitty gritty of like what it means to be a superhero, and they're asking you all these questions. What's the quintessential kind of like, why are we superheroes? And they want to get past the superficial. Yeah, Watchmen would be a great to do that, right? It's for sure.
But you're right. You're right in the fact
Have
that
you ever heard
just kind of wanting to get into initially read comics, that to throw Watchmen at them for their first book, it's just like throwing.
You want them run away.
Yeah, it's like hey man, you've never read before in your life. Here's the fucking Odyssey.
Yeah, y'all are so friendly. I think Watchmen is a great one to give to people, but if I wanted to scare somebody off, like if to me, just the thought of scaring someone off, I would give them Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. Yeah, I would be like, you really want to question your morals? You want to question your ethics and how you really feel about life? Read this shit, because man, I swear on everything I love, when he killed that fucking Christian dude and said, I gained no joy from this, because the dude was actually a good guy, an actual innocent dude. And he was like, yeah, this actually sucks, and still kills him. And you're just like,
Hardaway.
Or he's like,
Hardaway.
I'm about to give all sorts of spoilers.
Have you watched too much, or did you read too much of Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, and that's what's wrong?
I read everything of Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, including Squee and the off for his girlfriend. Look, man.
Now I know why the Furby is like following you. It makes you broke somewhere, and that's what happened. So, but in a good way. No,
so I gotta go and I gotta figure life out now. Be like,
no, here's the thing though. The beauty of it is this: there is something out there for everybody now, and really, it's our job as like, I don't want to say gatekeepers, but we are. It's our job. If people are coming at the comic book, the superheroes from movies or TV shows, then it's our job to kind of educate people on what we like, what we think they may like, and let them find it. I mean, you can have some 15-year-old kid who's like really dark and wants to, maybe Charles Byrne Black Hole would be something, right? Like, that's kind of messed up, but you have to know what's appropriate, right? I mean, kids are reading Deadpool or seeing Deadpool in the movies, so obviously parents are okay with some of the darker stuff, the more gratuitous stuff. I can totally see my niece reading Johnny stuff, right? Like, but that's our job now, is to kind of go, here, if this is something you're into, if you love Deadpool, right? Well, here's something that's really messed up, really bloody and gory, and I know you'd love it. Why not?
So if they love Deadpool, just tell them to go read everything by Garth Ennis.
Yeah, sure. Preacher, or even like Walking Dead, man. Robert Kirkman's Walking Dead.
Well, or what he did with Marvel Zombies, and the comic you mentioned earlier, Invincible. Those are all good. I will
say this though: if you do like dark shit, though, don't forget 2 of the classics, Sin City and Spawn.
Very true. Yeah, McFarlane
or The Dark Knight Returns, or anything goodness. Frank Miller, Ronin, any of that stuff. Anything that he's done, right? Or Swamp Thing, or anything like Alan Moore. Kind of gets very cerebral and dark and stuff like that. And Neil Gaiman, some of his
I was about to just say the same thing.
And I
my
think that's the
goodness.
point that a lot of people, like, for some reason don't get with comics, man, is the fact that it's not just capes in any way, shape, or form. The comics are not just capes at all. There's every kind of story that you could see in comic books in some capacity. I mean, just look at Saga. I'm not even sure exactly what to call Saga as far as a genre, because it goes all over. I mean, you would definitely have to include sci-fi, but it's also a fantasy. But it's, you know what I'm saying. But it's also a romance. But it's
Like a
also,
space opera.
yeah. I mean that. Yeah, I guess that would probably be the closest genre you could put it in. And I mean, there's so many other examples of that just they either blend genres or they're just out. You know what I mean? It's kind of annoying that people don't realize, man. Look, y'all just need to get your comic on, right? Because there's a comic there for everyone, right? Whether it's about
Yeah.
Sasquatch on a refuge, right? Because he's got to get his family away from these mean people, or Captain America and Iron Man fighting because they had a disagreement, right? There's always something. Keith, it's been a pleasure having you on, man. Hey, before
Yeah,
we
for
get
sure,
you to
man.
go, man, can you say, man, I'm gonna fuck it up again. Why can I not?
Say your name, good sir, and blah, 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 and say that I blah 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 blah
Look,
blah.
he's afraid he's gonna fuck it up. Can I just point that out?
Me too. Yeah, I am. I
He's
am. I am. I ain't gonna lie.
look.
But
So whatever. Look. It's say, yo, your name. Make sure you're checking out the questionnaire every Wednesday at 7. And then if you want to add something personal, add something personal.
So Keith Grachow is my name. Make sure you check out the questionnaire 7 p.m. Wednesdays, every Wednesday. You gotta listen. You gotta watch because we talk about some really cool shit.
You look like you were questioning when it comes out, which is hilarious because there are times where, like, one just dropped tonight at 7 and it's Saturday, but it was part 2 of Laverne's, and that's just how it went. And everybody's like gonna be able to figure out how long the delay is between these episodes coming. No, you won't. I'm the unknown factor. It changes all the bloody time. Sorry, y'all. Right?
So,
But I want to say, if you've enjoyed this interview with Keith, right, do me a favor. You go and you send him some buffalo chicken wings, bro. Great taste,
oh yeah,
right?
love it.
Or the GI Joe USS flag carrier or flag aircraft carrier, right? Right.
I would. That
You
would
send
be
him,
so awesome to
yeah,
have that show up on my
yeah.
doorstep. Oh
You
man,
send
it
if you've
would make
enjoyed this
my
interview,
day for
you
sure.
send him one of those. Now, look, if for some reason Keith is just irritated the crap out of you, right? I don't know why I would have, but whatever, people different spices for different people and all that shit. Um, yeah, you got to send him like a massive black cat, right? Like that can walk on its hind legs. And I like when I say massive, I mean like this thing better stand at least 3 foot tall, just standing on all
Yeah,
fours, right?
taller,
With
taller,
with
6 feet at
with
least,
spaghetti
hunched over.
with spaghetti red clam sauce for fur. I don't know how that's gonna work. And this is what you
why?
send to his
And that's
house.
nasty.
And this is just, if you don't like it, man, figure it out, make it happen. I guarantee
All
Keith
right.
will like it, right?
This is the PS moment of the show, and that is, I got a question for both y'all. Have y'all ever read the original GI Joe comics?
Yeah, Larry Hama, sure.
Dude, I fucking love those things.
I
I
can't say
cried when
that I
Doc
have,
died
but
for
I
one.
feel like GI
That shit
Joe
hurt.
GI
And
Joe's
no,
going to be
bro,
coming up a lot here pretty soon, Hardaway. I will say that on a future episode, right? I look forward
look,
to it.
look, real quick, unknown, if you ain't never seriously read the original GI Joe comics, those are not like, yes, they got some stupid shit in them, but man, they get serious real quick. Like that is some actually good writing and good artwork. Like it's a legit
All
bro.
right, Hardaway.
GI Joe's dope.
Hardaway, I'm not going to argue that point. I wish I had all the crap I used to have GI Joe wise. I'd be rich.
Yeah.
Or at least I would have had I sold them at the right time. Pardon me. But Man, but see, you fucked up my outro so bad. Because I was about to be like, and now I just feel like it's lost its steam. What'd you do that to me for, Hardaway?
Because, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Questionnaire. Thank you for joining us on our quest this evening. Have a great night.
Motherfucker, first off, it's the Questionnaire. Make sure you click the links in the description, right? There'll be all kinds of shit where you can go and find everything we've talked about with Keith, right? Do me a favor, though.
And what he said.
Give it a like, subscribe, and you know you need that thumbs up. Have a good night, y'all.
Always send sandwiches, though. Like, for real. I'm tired of bananas.